Hey, my name is Nathan. I'm 28. I'm a business consultant, which means I sit in meeting rooms with executives and document everything they say because that's what keeps everyone safe. 4 months ago, I was in the middle of a session with a VP named Vivian when she reached across the table and closed my laptop. The air conditioning hummed, her hand stayed pressed on the screen, and she said, "Can we talk?" Off the record. For the next 20 minutes, nothing was documented, nothing was recorded, and she told me things that could never go in a report. If you're watching this right now, tell me where you're from in the comments, because I still don't know if what we did was wrong. The laptop snapped shut, late afternoon. The meeting room hummed with air conditioning and the distant sound of phones ringing. Vivian's hand stayed on the closed screen, fingers pressed flat, like she was holding something down. "Can we talk?" she said. Off the record, I looked at my notepad, full page of bullet points. Action items, deliverables, everything documented like it should be. Off the record, I repeated, yes, just no notes, no minutes, just conversation. Every professional instinct said no. For how long, I asked. 20 minutes, maybe less. I set my pen down. Okay, she exhaled slowly, like she'd been holding her breath. The meeting room felt different suddenly, smaller, more intimate. Footsteps passed outside the glass wall. Someone walked by carrying files. Didn't look in. We both watched them go. Then Vivian looked at me, really looked. Not the way executives look at consultants, but the way people look at people. "Thank you," she said. That morning had started like every other consulting day. 6 a.m., review the agenda, prep the slides, make sure every deliverable had supporting data. I'm a business consultant. Independent, I help companies improve processes, increase efficiency, make things run smoother. Most of my work is documentation, meeting notes, action plans, progress reports, everything on the record, everything traceable. That's what keeps everyone safe. What protects against misunderstandings. My client Rachel had confirmed the afternoon session. Vivian Hayes, VP of Operations. 2 p.m., conference room B. Got it. She's particular about time. Starts exactly on schedule. Ends exactly on schedule. Understood. And Nathan? Yeah? Keep the notes tight. Michael reviews everything. Michael, the CEO, Vivian's boss. The one who'd hired me. Always do, I said. The first meeting with Vivian had been weeks ago. Initial kickoff. Define the scope. Set expectations. She'd walked in at exactly 2 p.m., navy suit, hair pulled back. Briefcase that probably cost more than my car, 42, beautiful in that polished executive way, like she'd learned to wear confidence like armor. "Nathan," she said. Handshake firm, professional. "Thank you for taking this on." "Of course." We sat across from each other. Long conference table between us. Rachel sat in the corner, taking notes, timing everything. "Michael wants efficiency improvements in operations," Vivian said. "Reduce redundancies. Streamline workflows, standard optimization." Understood. What's the timeline? 12 weeks, weekly check-ins. Final presentation to the board. I pulled up the proposal. Walked through the methodology. Milestones. KP is, she listened without interrupting. Asked sharp questions, knew exactly what she wanted. At exactly 3 p.m., she stood. "This works. Let's start next week." That was it. Professional. Clean. By the book. The first few sessions followed the same pattern. I'd arrive at 2 p.m., Vivian would already be there, laptop open, slides ready. We'd review progress, discuss findings, document action items. Rachel timed every minute, made sure we stayed on schedule. Vivian was always composed, always prepared, always distant. She answered questions precisely. Never volunteered extra information, never asked anything personal. Just work, just business. The routine became automatic, but around week 4, something shifted. We were reviewing workflow diagrams when Vivian stopped mid-sentence. "Sorry," she said. Can we pause for a second?" "Of course." She stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city. "The work isn't the problem," she said quietly. "What is?" "The pressure, the expectations, the constant performance." I didn't know what to say. She turned back. "Do you ever feel like you're drowning in documentation? Like everything has to be recorded and measured and optimized until there's no room to just be?" "Sometimes." "How do you cope?" "I take breaks. Go for walks. Remember that work isn't everything." She smiled sadly. "That must be nice." "It is." She sat back down. Do you ever talk to people without taking notes? Sometimes. What's that like? More honest. Less careful. Sounds dangerous. It can be, she looked at me. But worth it? Usually, Rachel's phone chimed. Time warning. Vivian straightened, pulled her laptop closer. Where were we? She asked, professional, distant, safe, but something had changed. The next week, late afternoon, it happened. We were halfway through the agenda when Vivian's hand moved to her laptop. Closed it. Can we talk? She said. Off the record? And I said yes. With the laptop closed, everything felt different. No screen between us, no notes being taken. Just two people in a room. What do you want to talk about? I asked. I don't know. She folded her hands. Everything, nothing. Something that doesn't end up in a report. Okay. Silence settled. Not uncomfortable, just present. Can I tell you something? She said, sure, I hate this job. I didn't expect that. What part? All of it? The meetings, the politics? The constant need to be perfect. She looked at her hands. I've been here 15 years, worked my way up, made every sacrifice. And now I'm VP of operations and I'm miserable. Why stay? Because I'm 42. Because this is what I built. Because I don't know what else I'd do. She paused. Because my husband expects me to. First time she'd mentioned him. What does he do? Corporate law. Partner at a big firm. We met in business school. She smiled without warmth. Perfect power couple. That's what people say. What do you say? I say we haven't had a real conversation in 3 years. The weight of that hung in the air. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be. It's my choice, my prison. She looked at me. Do you have anyone? No, had someone once. Didn't work out. Why not? She wanted more. I wanted different. Neither of us could compromise. Vivian nodded. At least you know what you want. Do I? Don't you? I thought I did. Now I'm not sure. We sat in silence. The room felt smaller without the screen, without the documentation. Just us, just honest. A calendar alert chimed on her phone. She glanced at it. 5 minutes left. We should probably, I know, but neither of us moved. Nathan? Yeah? Thank you. For this? For what? For not taking notes? For not measuring? For just listening anytime the door handle moved slightly. We both looked. Miss Patel from HR, passing by, didn't come in. But the moment broke. Vivian opened her laptop. Where were we on the workflow optimization? Professional, distant, safe, but her hands were shaking slightly. The next week's session started normally. Agenda, slides, progress updates. But halfway through, Vivian paused. Can we keep the slides closed a little longer? Sure. She minimized the presentation, folded her hands. I've been thinking about last week, she said. Okay. About what you said, about taking breaks. Remembering work isn't everything, yeah? How do you actually do that? When everything in your life is tied to performance? I thought about it. You choose one thing that matters outside of work, and you protect it. What's yours? Photography. I take pictures on weekends, nothing professional, just seeing things. Do you share them? No, they're just for me, she smiled. That sounds peaceful. It is. I don't have anything like that. What did you used to do? Before all this? Paint, watercolors. I was terrible, but I loved it. Why'd you stop? No time, no space, no point. She looked at the closed laptop. Everything became about results, about measurable outcomes. You could start again, could I? Yeah, just like that. Just like that. She was quiet for a long moment. Maybe, she said. Maybe I will. The coffee on the table had gone cold. Neither of us had touched it. We're over time, she said, checking her watch. I know. Can you stay? 5 more minutes? Every professional instinct said no. Yeah, I said, I can stay. Those 5 minutes stretched into something else. No agenda, no deliverables. Just 2 people sitting across a desk. Can I ask you something? Vivian said, sure. Why do you do this? Consulting, documentation, making companies more efficient. Honestly? Because I'm good at it, and it pays well. But do you like it? Sometimes, when I feel like I'm actually helping. When the work matters. Does this work matter? I don't know yet. She smiled. A real one. At least you're honest. Trying to be. That's rare. In this world, she looked at me. Most people just say what you want to hear. What do you want to hear? The truth, even when it's uncomfortable. The truth is this engagement is standard. You don't need optimization. You need breathing room. She laughed. Quiet but genuine. You're not supposed to say that. You asked for honesty. I did. She paused. Do you think Michael knows? That you don't need a consultant? That I'm drowning? I think everyone here is drowning. They just don't talk about it. Why not? Because admitting it feels like failure. Is it? No, it's human. Her phone lit up. Michael's name, call incoming. The moment shattered. She straightened. Yeah, I stood. Gathered my things. Thank you, she said. For staying. Anytime. As I reached the door, she spoke again. Nathan? I stopped. Can we do this again? The off-record part? That's not really protocol. I know. It could complicate things. I know that too. I should have said no. We'll see, I said. A knock at the door. Rachel. Sorry to interrupt. Michael needs Vivian for a reschedule. Vivian's face shifted. Professional mask back on. Of course. Tell him I'll be right there. Rachel nodded. Left. Vivian looked at me. We should end here. Okay. Same time next week? Yeah, I left without my usual notes, without the action items, without the documentation. Just walked out. The following week passed slowly. I worked other clients, wrote other reports. Tried not to think about conference room B failed. My business partner Owen noticed at the office. You seem distracted, he said. Just busy. Bullshit, what's going on? Nothing. Is it the Hayes engagement? Why would you ask that? Because your weekly summaries are thinner than usual. Less detail, fewer notes. I didn't have a good answer. Everything's fine, I said. Just adjusting approach? He didn't believe me. But he let it go. That afternoon I was packing up when I noticed something. My pen, the nice one. Left in conference room B. I should have just grabbed a new one. Instead I went back for it. The room was empty, lights dimmed. Table clean. My pen sat where I'd left it. Next to where Vivian had been sitting. I picked it up, put it in my pocket. Noticed something else. A sticky note tucked under the pen. Handwriting I didn't recognize. Thank you for listening. No signature. Didn't need one. That night, past midnight, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Nathan? Text message? Hi, it's Vivian. I got your number from Rachel. I hope that's okay. I stared at it. Typed. It's fine. Everything okay? Yes, no. I don't know. Pause. Can we talk? Not at the office. Somewhere neutral. No files. No records. Every professional boundary screaming no. When? Tomorrow morning? Before work? Where? There's a coffee shop on 5th, near the park. 8 a.m.? I'll be there. Thank you. Vivian? Yes? This stays off the record, right? Completely. I barely slept. Thinking about boundaries, about ethics, about the difference between personal and professional, about how I was probably crossing lines I shouldn't cross. But I went anyway. The coffee shop was quiet. Early morning crowd, nobody from the office. Vivian was already there. Corner table, no laptop, no briefcase, jeans, sweater, hair down. She looked different, younger, more real. Hi, she said as I sat. Hi, thanks for coming. Of course, we ordered coffee. Sat in awkward silence. I'm sorry, she said finally. For texting you, for asking you here. This is inappropriate. Probably. But I needed to talk to someone who isn't, she trailed off, who isn't part of all that. I get it. Do you? Yeah, she wrapped her hands around her coffee. Can I be honest? Please. I'm exhausted. Not physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. She looked at me. And those 20 minutes last week when we just talked, that was the first time in months I felt like a person instead of a position. Vivian? I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling you, so you know, I understand. Do you? Because I'm not sure I do. We sat there. Coffee cooling, morning light through the window. I need to ask you something, I said. Okay. What do you want from this? From me? She thought about it. Honestly, I don't know. I just know that when I'm in that conference room with you and the laptop is closed and we're just talking, I feel less alone. I feel that too. You do? Yeah, is that wrong? I don't know. But it's complicated. Yeah, it is. She nodded. So what do? We set boundaries. We stay professional at the office. We keep work separate. And outside the office? I thought about it. I don't know. Maybe we're just friends who understand each other. Can we be that? I think so. Even though I'm married? Are you happy? She didn't answer right away. No. Then maybe you need someone who sees that. Even if it's just a consultant you hired, she smiled sadly. You're not just a consultant. What am I? Someone who listens? Someone who doesn't want anything from me except honesty. That's enough, is it? We talked for an hour about everything except work, About her marriage, how it had died slowly, how neither of them had the courage to end it. About my life, how I'd chosen independence over stability, how sometimes I wondered if I'd made a mistake, about loneliness, about pressure, about the space between who we are and who we're supposed to be. When we finally left, we stood outside the coffee shop. "Thank you," she said, "for meeting me. Anytime. I should go. Different entrance. Different time. Smart." She started to walk away, stopped, looked back. "Nathan? Yeah? This stays between us, right? Completely. Good." She walked away. I watched her go and knew I'd just crossed a line I couldn't uncross. The next scheduled session felt different. 2 p.m. Conference room be same as always. But now I knew what she looked like in jeans, how she wrapped her hands around coffee, how her voice sounded when she wasn't performing. I arrived early, set up my laptop, opened the agenda, professional, clean, by the book. Vivian walked in at exactly 2 p.m., navy suit. Hair up, back to executive armor. "Good afternoon," she said. "Afternoon." She sat across from me, Rachel in the corner, timing everything. "Let's review last week's action items," Vivian said. We worked through the slides, process improvements, efficiency metrics, everything documented. She was perfectly professional, perfectly distant, like the coffee shop never happened. I followed her lead, kept it clean, kept it safe. At 3 p.m., she closed her laptop. "Thank you, Nathan. Same time next week?" "Yes." She stood, gathered her things, started to leave, then paused at the door. "Good work this week," she said. Rachel was looking at her phone. Vivian met my eyes, held them for half a second longer than necessary, then left. That evening I got a text. "Thank you." "For what?" "For keeping it professional. That's the job, is it?" I didn't know how to answer. "I know this is complicated," she typed, "but I appreciate you for understanding the line. We both need to respect it." "I know." Pause. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you think about it? The coffee shop conversation?" "Yeah. Me too, Vivian. I know we can't. I'm just acknowledging." "Okay. Good night, Nathan." "Good night." Over the next 2 weeks, we maintained perfect distance. Professional sessions, clean documentation, everything by the book. But the texts continued. Late at night, brief, careful, never anything inappropriate, just connection. "How was your day?" "Long, yours?" "Same," or "I started painting again." "You were right." "That's great. How does it feel?" "Terrifying." "Good." Or, "Do you ever feel like you're living 2 lives? The professional one and the real one?" "Every day. Which one is more true?" "I don't know yet." 3 weeks after the coffee shop, Owen pulled me aside. "We need to talk about the Hayes engagement." "What about it?" "The documentation is thin. The progress reports lack depth. And Michael's asking questions." My stomach dropped. "What kind of questions?" "About deliverables. About timeline. About whether we're on track." "We are." "Then show me. Give me something concrete." I couldn't, because half the sessions weren't about work anymore. "I'll tighten the reports," I said. "Nathan, what's going on?" "Nothing." "Is it her? Vivian?" "No, it's just the engagement is complex." "Complex how?" "I'm still figuring that out." He looked at me carefully. "Be careful. These corporate clients. They'll throw you under the bus if things go sideways." "I know." "Do you?" "Because you're acting like someone who's forgotten that." He wasn't wrong. The next session, I came prepared. Full agenda, detailed slides, everything documented. Vivian noticed immediately. "This is comprehensive," she said. "Michael's reviewing progress. We need to show value." "I see. We work through everything. Professional, efficient, no pauses. No closed laptops." Rachel took notes the entire time. At 3 p.m. exactly, Vivian stood. "Thank you. This was productive." "Good." She left without looking back. That night, no text. Or the next night, or the night after that. A week passed. Nothing. I told myself it was better this way. Cleaner, safer, didn't feel better. 2 weeks later, I was in a different client meeting when my phone buzzed. "Can we talk?" Vivian. "When?" "Now, please, I'm in a meeting." "After?" 5:30, same coffee shop?" Yes, she was already there when I arrived. Same corner table? But something was different. Her eyes were red. Makeup couldn't quite hide it. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Michael's ending the engagement early." "What?" "Why? He says we're not seeing enough results. That the optimization isn't worth the cost." She looked at me. "Is that true?" I thought about all the sessions we'd spent talking instead of working. All the documentation I hadn't done. Partially, I said. We've made progress. But maybe not as much as we should have. Because of me. Because of both of us. She wrapped her hands around her coffee. Same gesture as before. But sadder now. I'm sorry, she said. I distracted you from your work. I let myself be distracted. Why? Because I thought you needed someone to talk to more than you needed a consultant. I did. I do, she wiped her eyes. But now you're losing a client because of me. That's on me, not you. Is it? Yeah, we sat in silence. What happens now? She asked. We finish out the contract. 2 more sessions. Then I'm done. And after that? After that, I don't know. Will we still... She trailed off. Will we still talk? I don't think we should. Her face fell. Why not? Because this only works within the structure? Without it? I looked at her. Without it, we're just 2 people crossing lines we shouldn't cross. What if I don't care about the lines? You should. You're married. Barely. That's not the same as not married. She knew I was right. Hated anyway. So that's it? She said. 2 more sessions and we pretend we never had these conversations. We don't pretend, we just respect the boundary. I don't want to respect the boundary, I know. But we have to... The second to last session was painful. Everything professional? Everything documented? Nothing personal? Vivian was perfectly composed, perfectly distant, like we were strangers. Maybe we were, maybe we always been. The final session, Vivian arrived late. 15 minutes. First time ever. She looked exhausted. Sorry, she said. Meeting ran over. It's fine. We worked through the final deliverables, recommendations, implementation, timeline. Everything clean and packaged. The laptop stayed open the entire time. At exactly 3 p.m., I closed my files. That's everything, I said. Final report will be delivered by Friday. Thank you. We stood. Shook hands, professional, formal. It was good working with you, she said. You too. She walked to the door, hand on the handle, then stopped. Nathan? Yeah? Thank you for seeing me, even when you weren't supposed to. Thank you for letting me. She nodded, left, and that was it. I delivered the final report on Friday. Clean, professional, everything by the book. Michael approved it, paid the invoice, thanked me for my work. No mention of the thin documentation, the lost focus, the crossed lines, just business. For weeks after, I tried to forget. Worked other clients, wrote other reports, moved on. But late at night, I'd think about closed laptops, about coffee shops, about someone who needed to be seen more than helped. 3 months later, I got an email. Subject, update, hi Nathan, I hope you're well. I wanted you to know I left. The company, not just the job, resigned last month. I'm consulting now. On my own terms, smaller clients, more meaningful work. Less pressure. I also left Michael, filed for separation. Living in a small apartment downtown. Painting every morning before work. It's terrifying and lonely and the best decision I've ever made. Thank you for showing me it was possible. Volt. I read it 3 times. Typed several responses, deleted them all. Finally settled on. I'm proud of you. That takes courage. Thank you. For everything. You did the work. Not me. Maybe, but you reminded me I could. Pause. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you ever think about those off-record conversations? All the time. Me too. Not in a, just fondly. Yeah, me too. Good. 6 months after the engagement ended, I was at a networking event when I saw her. Not a business event. An art gallery, opening night. She was standing in front of a watercolor, simple, peaceful, a park scene, her watercolor. I walked over. She saw me, smiled. Hi, she said. Hi, you came. Got the invitation. Didn't realize you were showing. Small show. Just a few pieces. She looked at the painting. I'm still learning. It's beautiful. Thank you. We stood side by side, looking at her work. How are you? I asked. Better, really better. The divorce is almost final. The business is growing. I'm painting. She glanced at me. I'm me again. I'm glad. How about you? Good, busy. Still consulting. Still documenting everything? Mostly, I smiled. Sometimes I take off record breaks. She laughed. Good, someone called her name. A client, she waved. She started. Yeah. Go. She took a step, stopped, looked back. Nathan? Yeah? Thank you for those 20 minutes when we just talked. When nothing was recorded, she paused. That's when I started to remember who I was. I remember too. She nodded, walked away. And I stood there, looking at her painting. Thinking about closed laptops and coffee shops and the space between professional and personal, these days I still consult, still document, still follow the rules, but I'm more careful now. About boundaries, about what gets recorded, about knowing when someone needs help with their business and when they need help with themselves. And sometimes when I close my laptop in a meeting, I think about Vivian, about how some of the most important conversations happen off the record, about how documentation protects us, but it can also cage us, about how being seen is sometimes more valuable than being optimized. Last week, I got a text, new client, corporate VP, needs efficiency consulting. I took the meeting, professional, clean, agenda prepared. Halfway through, she paused. Can I ask you something off the record? And I knew. This wasn't about workflows. Yes, I said. But let's set a time limit. 20 minutes? 20 minutes. I closed the laptop. And we really talked about pressure, about expectations, about the weight of always performing. At exactly 20 minutes, I opened the laptop again. Let's get back to the agenda, I said. Thank you, she said quietly. For that. Anytime. Because here's what I learned. Documentation is important. Boundaries are important. Professionalism is important. But so is being human. So is seeing people. So is knowing when to close the laptop and just listen. Some meetings matter most when nothing is recorded. Some conversations happen best off the record. And sometimes the most valuable thing you can do for someone is simply witness them, not fix them, not optimize them, not measure them, just see them. Tonight I'm reviewing notes for tomorrow's sessions, agendas, deliverables, action items, everything documented, everything safe. But I keep my laptop close to my notepad. So when someone asks to talk off the record, I'm ready to close the screen, to set a timer, to just listen, because some of the best work happens in the margins, in the pauses, in the 20 minutes when nothing is being recorded.